All right, we got them clear. Well, we're going to see what we can do with this old mesquite log here. Now, I have cut the flat one side of it so I can have the flat side down. So that was a little ahead of the video, but you'll get the idea of what we're going to try to do. There should be some really nice stuff come out of it. This time, hopefully the sound is going to work on this camera. That way you'll be able to actually hear the sawmill and how it's running. Usually, like I said in some of the other videos, by listening to the sawmill, you know how hard to push it and how sharp the blade actually is. So let's get this going. Well, we're going to be running this old homemade sawmill, and we call it a Timbercat 2020 with a 158-inch blade. Now, what you're going to see is we're going to be running through some mesquite here. Now, this mesquite's only about, I'm going to say 16 inches in diameter, somewhere along that. And it's easy to cut through this old mesquite, even though it's a hard wood. Now, the blade you're going to see on here, we cut probably 2 of the logs with it, so it is probably not as sharp as it should be, but it will do a good job, I'm pretty sure. Now, we may also have a little bit of background noise because we got an AC running in the office today. Because it's still, believe it or not, here in South Texas, about 97, 98 degrees, and it's still pretty hot. Now, I built this old sawmill a couple of years ago, and I put out a couple of videos as I was building it. Now, I actually started back when COVID hit, and I didn't mess with it for a couple of years after that. And then we moved back from East Texas back to South Texas down here on the Mexico border, and that's when I kicked it another gear. When I got back on my feet, started feeling a little bit better, and I went ahead and finished the sawmill up. Pretty impressed by it myself, and I think you should be too. We didn't have any kind of plans, but what we're going to be doing is, so many people have reached out to us through YouTube and asked us to put, they want to know some measurements. So in the near future, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to put the sawmill up, take a camera, set it up, and I'm going to start taking some dimensions for you on the width, the height, the spacing, some of the really basic stuff you need to build one similar to this. And I'm not saying you have to build our same sawmill, but it'll give you some kind of reference point. And if you really want to know something, or it's one of my secrets to building a sawmill, mention it down in the messages in the description. Send me a message saying, well, what did you use to calculate the spreading on the wheels? And I'm going to send you a link to a program that works very well that'll help you take some of the guesswork out and save you a bunch of money and material. The old sawmill sounded like it's got a cam and a 327 small block, but I don't know why it idles like that, but it started doing that about, 2 months ago. For hardwood, we're running a fairly decent speed. Now you're going to see here, I'm decided to move the angle of the camera. I am taking the actual video myself. I'm sawing the logs by myself, and that's something you just saw me do that you don't want to do. That's walk in front of the sawmill while the blade is rotating. If we're cutting cedar now, we can normally run about twice as fast, but the hardwoods, we have to run a little bit slower because we don't want the blade to dip or dive. And that's what normally happens in hardwoods. If you hit a knot or something in the wood that's a little harder than the other parts of that slab, wherever in that area you're working in, it's most of the time it's going to dive down, and in some cases may kind of pull up. You're probably wondering what size motor that is. That's, I believe, is a 13 horse. And you're probably wondering about the blade guide rollers. Those are CNC machined here in my shop. And if you're interested or you need some of these for your sawmill, hit us up at tx-covers.com or post a comment down below, and I'll send you a link back to where you can buy these. Now, I do have these 1 1/4 and 1 1/2, or 4 1 1/4 blades and 4 1/2 blades. So I've never replaced these since I built this sawmill, and I do have them designed where you can just replace the bearings, which cost you about $6 for both blade guide rollers. So they're actually pretty heavy duty. The design has a little bit bigger bearing in them than most you see, like Cook sawmills and some of the woodmizer and Norwood. But it's a whole lot better to put a bigger bearing in there, and having to change them out less means a lot to me. The caster wheels are 4-inch in diameter, and we also have those on the website at tx-covers.com. I'll post some links to some of the stuff down in the description as well. So if you're looking for any of these items, just go down to the description area, hit more, it'll open up another section there, and you'll see some links down below that to where you can go directly to these items and purchase them if you're interested. Something else you're probably wondering what that handle is. Well, it's got a cable on it, and you see it tied around the handle crank. I'll undo that and run it to the other end of the sawmill down below the wheel that's underneath the right rear carriage wheel, and that goes to the end of the sawmill, and I just crank the handle and pull it through the log as I'm cutting it to make it, on real hard woods. I usually use it, but on wood like this, I just push it by hand. To me, it's a lot easier. Now, we're not far from the blooper. You're going to see that I'm getting down to the bottom cut, or the last cut I can make on this log, and my stops are just a little bit too high, or at least I thought they were. So I did not want to risk taking the chance of ruining the blade, so I went ahead. I saw that I was able to cut past the top one on the first one, top of the first one, but the second one I couldn't really tell. It was real close, so a little blooper and blunder coming up soon. I'm also running the throttle at about 80% of the engine capacity. That's got my blade speed set just where I want it to cut at and not overload the motor. If you run a motor, a small engine like that, it wide open throttle you over the cam curve, I guess you can call it. Here we go. This is the bloop and blubber. And something else I did earlier was I tried to pull that sawmill back while it was slowing down. You don't want to do that either, because you can damn sure pull your blade right off the wheels. But there we go. Kicked it right over, right. I took the stop out, and I thought that I might be able to keep my foot on it and hold it in place. Well, that didn't work so good. So now I've got to go through the ordeal of actually figuring a way to keep that slab further over and put a stop in there that will not jam up the blade or cause the blade to cut into it. It sure is tough to be getting old. See, that stop almost works, but I'm still a little concerned. Maybe I need to put my bifocals on. Nah, I don't need that. Let's see. I'm going to go back over and grab something else. Something else I'll note, do not stand in front of that sawmill right there if that blade is rotating. It's really not the safest place in the world to be, even if it's not rotating, because you have a lot of tension on that blade, and you never know when it's going to pop. So, do as I say, not as I do. Here we go. Let's make that cut. Well, we got some pretty nice slabs out of it, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the water, and I'm going to wash them off, and then I'll get you a good clear shot of what we cut and what we got out of this. So, old mesquite log. All right, now we got to the good part. This is the part you get to see what we cut. Now on the left side, you're going to see the slabs that we were just now cutting. And on the right side, you're going to see the slabs that I cut prior to this log. Now the ones on the right are a creamier cutter. They're a younger mesquite, but still have the same diameter. And the ones on the left side are an older mesquite that are darker. Now myself personally, my preference is the left side. I like that coloring and figuring. It's pretty dramatic. Now the right side is a creamier. It's a softer color, and some people may like that. This is just some more of them that we cut from this log that we're currently showing the video of. But mesquite is some actually pretty nice stuff. I have shot some water on it and cleaned them off. That way you're actually just to be able to see the grain pattern a little bit more true. Mesquite is an awesome wood. I like that, and I like cedar. That's my top two woods that I like to work with. Well guys, we've reached the part of the video that you've probably been waiting for. I know you want to see what the slabs look like. We've taken the time to put them up against the building here and left some on the forks of the forklift, and we washed them off. The ones you see on the left are the ones we're currently cutting. The ones you see on the right are the ones that I cut prior to this log, and they are a creamier color. The current ones that's on the log that we are cutting in this video are more of a rustic looking, darker color. Now, everybody has their own choice, style, and selection. We do ask that you hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe if we shared any information with you that's valuable. And also, if you're looking for any of these items that we mentioned in the video, go down into the description at the bottom, hit the more button, it'll take you there, and you'll be able to find them. Thank you for watching.